not much going on in the world of COVID. That's probably good news. The world is a flu world. There's about 10 to 15% of population in the US is currently carrying flu. My entire family had a flu, except for me, which is weird. And I heard that same with Fred, and I understand lots of other people. So lots of flu going around. So be careful. Um, I don't know if folks here had experience with the flu shots. If you've had a flu shot and you had a COVID, I mean, if you had a flu shot and then you had a flu on top of that, I'd like to hear that. I think that the flu vaccine this year probably was useful. Not necessarily every year it's been as useful as this one's, just because the prevalence of flu is so high this year. Um, and that is my main update. So I will wait for Q&A. So you guys know the drill. Put the questions in the chat and I'll answer them as they come. My only other update is every one of us have a stress center in the body. For most people, it's probably an abdomen. For other people, it could be other things. So one thing I invite you to do before we go to Fred's part today is take a moment, take a second, and ask yourself, where is your center of your stress? How does the stress manifest in you physically? We often talk about weak belly. If you have IBS, quote unquote, which I don't believe exists as is, that may be you. So abdomen is the hyperreactive or hyporeactive bowel, where you get constipation or diarrhea when you're stressed, common one. So don't question that. Just tune in, identify the location, and that's all I'm going to ask you to do. Because when Fred starts, what I would like for you to do is pay attention how that centers feel during the practice, particularly. I think we're going to discover that a lot of our illnesses begin this way. So if you have a chronic illness that manifests as a particular organ dysfunction, quite often stress is plays key role, and we often forget to check in on that. We tend to keep looking for a biologic explanation when quite often there is simply a stress response. So, um, yeah, so masking is probably still the best way to avoid flu in a group. That is probably true. Also, if someone in the family is sick, put mask on them, because regular surgical mask putting on a person who's sick decreases the spread quite a bit. And then you can mask up as well if you want. Now, the flu is a bit more contagious than a COVID, so unfortunately, if one member of the family got it, chances are probably most of you will have it unless you've been vaccinated. Is stomach flu contagious? Yes, but in a different way, obviously, right? So it's a hand-mouth pickup. So you need to somehow be picking it up through the contact with feces in some way. So it is highly contagious. That is correct. So influenza-like illnesses seems to be increasing. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Mark, I think it comes in waves. I think overall you're probably right. I think I've read that somewhere before. But I believe that that's also highly, highly seasonal and up and down. Remember when we had COVID, when we were all masking up, there was almost no flu at all. Like there was no flu and cold for a couple of years when we were masking up. So a lot of this is also depends on the behavior, on the particular year, how people travel, how the flu travels, etc. So, right. I've used diluted betadine spray for nose. Yeah, that's the one. We talked about using azolastine spray and evidence for that against COVID. People use other types of sprays. I like actually the silver spray. The one I'm going to show you is, I'm going to put this in the chat. So there's a spray we use for Marcons. called Biofilm Clear. So this spray can work. It's quite inexpensive. You don't need prescription for it. You can just order it from there. So this is also contains colloidal silver. But I'm sure there are other choices. So there's quite a lot of different types. So check that out as well. How do you distinguish? You don't. It's difficult to distinguish stomach flu from food poisoning. Typically, stomach flu will last longer. Food poisoning usually comes and goes within hours, maybe a day. A flu can last a couple of days, so you may have a bit more prolonged diarrhea. But if we're all distinguished, just eat, it's not easy. So if you have a very short stomach flu, it could only be just a couple of episodes of diarrhea, and in a couple of days you feel better. So. By the way, we say stomach flu, but we don't. For more accurate purposes, you would say it really depends on what kind of virus causing it, right? There are different viruses that can cause it. So some viruses can be quite bad. I mean, they can cause diarrhea for a week. Some of them are much lighter, and so it's kind of hard to group them all together. Yeah. But stomach flu, I think season is past. Stomach flu season, quote unquote, is more of a summer fall. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible to have it all year round too. But the flu as a flu, like a regular flu, we are still in the peak of a season. So good questions. Right? Any other questions? So who here actually had a flu? I'm just curious. Just want to see show of hands. One. Anybody else? Can't see the hands. Oh, actually, let me change this my view here. Gallery. Two, three. Not a lot of people, so I'm surprised. I'd expect more people. I guess you've been masking well and avoiding it. Good for you. I'm still waiting to. Well, you guys, New Zealanders, I don't think you can compare yourself to us. You're in a different world, my friend. In the better world, that is. Well, so the interesting aspect is when people are in a specific population, well, quite often those populations are a bit more careful. They may be more isolated, so they may actually fare better for a while until if the population is more confined, they may actually end up and eventually with a much worse outbreak. So kind of hard to say too. But generally speaking, from my recollection, Mark, obviously correct me if I'm wrong, but I think New Zealand generally gets less of everything, of all the infections, just for the sake of, you are quite distant from all other locations, and also you're not as populated. So one of the biggest issues is if you think about which areas get heavier pandemics and heavier infections is the areas that are most tightly populated, where you have the most number of people per square mile or whatever the term is, square foot. And so New Zealand is actually not heavily populated per space per land. You look at some of the parts, like let's take a look at New York, right? So if you take in New York or Los Angeles as an area, I mean, this is a massive metropolitan areas with millions and millions of people living on a very tight area. I mean, obviously, the risk of infections or a pandemic in such area would be substantially higher than, I don't know, rural Texas, simply because people are coming in contact with each other a lot more frequent. So feels like I fought something off. Yeah, that's how I felt. So I felt like I fought off something in December, and then I had COVID, and then I didn't have anything. So that could be. So you could have potentially, Steph, had flu that passed mildly, and thank God, and you're fine, right? So, but you'll never know. So there's no test for flu per se. You can't go to the lab and say, "What did I have?" That doesn't exist. So you have to just hope that, it worked. Astapro every night. Yeah, okay. Well, why night? I kind of wonder. I mean, I probably would use it in the morning more, but I guess it doesn't matter. I actually don't know. That's a good question, how long it lasts. Let's take a look. I'll answer other questions. I just want to Google this. Uh, length of effect. It's probably 10 hours, I would guess. Oh, up to 24 hours. Take it back. Yeah, makes sense. So, yeah, that's why the studies looked into using it twice a day. You know, but if it's up to 24 hours, clearly it's a much longer acting medication than I thought it would be. So that's good. Although it's up to 24 hours for the allergy, but whether that means the same for the prevention of infection, I don't know. I'd recommend using it in the morning. This is for Curry, who using it, so, or anybody else for that matter. Okay, is the inflammatory process and duration with the flu shorter than the inflammatory? Hard to say. It's highly individual. We had my older one had flu for a week. The younger one had flu for a day. My wife is now having a flu for more than a week. So hard to say. I had a COVID for I felt sick for a day. Yeah. So who knows, right? I think you can't really say that because there's not only variability in the types of infections, but in a variant, what's called, in the number of particles you picked up. So if you get exposed very heavily, chances are you're going to have symptoms that are more severe and they will last longer. So, oh yeah, so I think Steph put in the link to the article that we talked about. So by all means, take a look. Since she posted it, let me double check myself to make sure how often people used it per day, because that's a really good practical question. So yes, they used it 3 times daily. I thought it was twice. They used it 3 times daily. That makes sense, right? Because you don't expect that the medication physically, it may block the inflammation and allergy for 24 hours, but it's not going to block entry of the virus for 24 hours since medication itself is going to dissipate. So with that, we'll slowly pass on to Fred. And again, before we begin with Fred, just let's actually do this all together. Fred, just give me a sec. Let me attune folks for you. So let's take a couple of deep breaths and tune again into your body as I asked you earlier. And see where this stress center, where is your body response to stress? The common places I mentioned is the belly, the jaw is very commonplace, particularly lower jaw. So if you feel like you're clenching your teeth at times, that's definitely a center. If you're frowning your forehead, you may want to feel, and sometimes that's the area. Can be really anywhere. Could obviously be your chest. People often feel stress as the kind of a sense of anxiety or a sense of chest pain. So all of those locations. So just tune into that and simply identify the area and be present to it. And then when Fred begins his part, see how your stress center responds to the particular practice when you follow. Whether it's a music, sound, or any visual experiences or visualization of anything. With that, my pleasure. Pass on to my brother Fred from south of Florida, where well, actually, we're getting nice weather too. So
It's 78 here, so
yeah, well, we're not that far off. I think it's
good.
60. It's 60. So I think the
That's good.
winter is giving up.
Yes, yes, that's a good thing. Well, thank you, Misha, and welcome to everybody. It's always a great pleasure and an honor for me to be able to take this journey with you. And I'm so glad, Misha, that you instructed people and guided people to really kind of listen and connect to where stress manifests itself in your body. My time with you today is centered around a conversation and some facts and data about the importance of our breath, uh, the importance of our words, our speaking words, our thinking mind, and imagery towards the management of stress. And as we do this today, and as I talk about this, as Misha said, I want you to really give yourself the opportunity to be in touch with what part of your body, where in your body are you holding that stress. And I want to also say that, and we're going to do a bit of an exercise in a little bit. I want you to know and acknowledge the fact that the vibration of your own voice, the frequency that you create with your own voice, and the frequency of your attention to that place in your body, those two coupled together and on the beautiful ether of your breath, you can actually move towards a place of centeredness, a place of calm, a place of reducing the negative effects of that stress on your body and your being, just through the vehicle of the breath, combined with your intentionality or the frequency and vibration of your thinking, coupled with the beautiful, powerful sound of your own voice. I want to start out by giving some statistics. Statistics, in scientific information that we've been given relative to our own voices and the importance of our own voices. On our beating heart moment, we talk a lot about the benefits of the vibration of our own voices. Oftentimes, people think specifically about singing, but I'm not speaking just about singing. I'm speaking about the pure vibration of your own voice, just rattling, if you will, moving through the body. I have some stuff I want to share here. It says that when you sing or use your voice, especially with slow, controlled breathing, you stimulate the vagus nerve, the main nerve of the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is your rest and digest system. So just that vibration of your own voice and the effects of this beautiful voice of yours can have a positive effect upon slowing your heart rate, lowering your blood pressure, reducing cortisol, and promoting a sense of calm. Just even humming alone can activate this relaxation response. And so often, in our quest towards finding wholeness, health, and well-being, we look beyond ourselves and we don't give ourselves the opportunity to really recognize the power and the healing essence of just the pure vibration of our own voices. Also, this frequency, it releases good chemicals like endorphins and dopamine and oxytocin. And this biological shift, it directly counteracts stress. So a lot of the work that I do, and this, and as Misha has said in the past, and as we've talked about it, this practice of sounding individually and communally is as ancient as time itself. Our master teachers tell us that when humankind heard the birds and felt the vibration of the birds and was guided to begin to create sound for communication amongst each other, this vibration within our body is so valuable and effective. So just the vibration of your own voice, especially like slow and continuously, is a really beautiful way to, again, waken that vagus nerve, which enlivens the body, sends a signal through the nervous system that of calm to settle in and to be at calm. And of course, we know that the vagus nerve participates in sort of amplifying the creation of nitric oxide, which is really good for the body. So that in and of itself is kind of the basic importance of sound. The other part of that is the vibration of words, of our words or our thinking mind. We know that the thinking mind, that thought is measurable. And so when we combine the vibration of our own voices with considering the power in positive speaking, or let's talk first and foremost about negative self-talk. I wonder how many of us find ourselves from time to time in that inner loop of negative talk. I know, we kind of teach and share what we need to practice, and I really try to be conscious of that. And the scientific research says that negative self-talk absolutely affects both your body and your mental functioning. Your brain does not clearly distinguish between an external threat and an internally repeated critical thought. When you repeatedly tell yourself things like, well, I'm not good enough or I'm going to fail, your nervous system can react as if you're under real danger. So it's very, very important for us to be aware of our self talk, to be aware of our self talk in terms of our own personal well being, and also to be aware of our words, the vibration, the energy of our words as they move beyond us and go out into the world. A perfect example of that is if you're angry at somebody, you're really angry at them and your mind is telling you, they did this to me and they did this to me and they did this to me. And I feel, well, that energy and that communication, the negative rattle is happening within the temple of your own body. It's resonating, it's vibrating within you. So, the vibration and the frequency of our own voices, coupled with the vibration or the intentionality of our speaking, the vibrations of our words, right? Coupled and on the ether of the breath is this beautiful what I call the golden vibrational triangle of centeredness. And many of the ancient philosophies teach that. One of my teachers from West Africa, Baba Kwame Shangi, used to say, how you breathe, what's your sound, what you thinking about. How you breathe, what's your sound, what you thinking about. How you breathe, what's your sound, what you thinking about. So imagine a beautiful triangle for us to consider. And at the base of the triangle is the breath. In our beating heart journey, there are two beautiful melodies that we reiterate and we remind ourselves of, and we give gratitude to every week. And the first is the rhythm of your beating heart. I think in one of our first times together, I talked about this beautiful confirmation that as we come into the life plane, as we come into the life journey, the way that we announce ourselves in the living place is through the rhythm of our beating heart. And that rhythm of our beating heart aligns with the rhythm of our mother's heart as we're there in the womb, as we're there in that loving place where we entrain ourselves to the rhythm of our mother's beating heart, and we get stronger and we grow and we evolve, and then we tap and say, Mama, time for me to come into the world. And we come through the birth canal, and when we come through the birth canal and into the world, most people connect to that first sound as but the first sound is really the inhale, the exhale, and then the cry. So this beautiful journey of the song of the breath, which is that which unites us and every fiber of our being internally feels, is the beautiful song of the breath. So the harmonic or the symphonic beauty of the beating heart and the song of the breath. The breath is the foundation for life and living, and the breath is really what unites all living things together. So this song of the breath, upon which the ether of our thinking and our communication moves into the world, is the base of the triangle. And then the left side of the triangle then is the vibration of our thinking, our thought, our intentionality, our focus, what our focus is. In Sankofic language, or in the ancient language, the onesa, or what's the stream of your focus. So the breath combined with the vibration of our thinking, the energy of our thinking, and then combining that other side of the triangle, and that is sounding and moving that into the world. So our consciousness and connection of our breath combined with our thinking, our words, our thinking of ourselves, our relationship, our thought and communication into the world on the ether of the breath, and the creation of sound. It's so very, very important in terms of our really feeling better and participating in health and wellness. Science tells us that negative self-talk actually activates the brain's threat system, especially the amygdala. And this triggers a release of cortisol and increases heart rate, muscle tension, and shallow breathing. If this becomes chronic, it keeps your body in a low-grade flight or fight situation. And so it's such a wonderful thing, and this is what I so honor, and I'm so excited always when Dr. Misha and I have the opportunity to be together and communicate this wonderful journey of the science, journey of medicine, coupled with these beautiful teachings of the inner journey, teachings of recognizing what are the tangible elements of our everyday life that enable us to move towards a place of wellness or wholeness or healing. And so I'd like now for us to take a journey. And if it feels right, I'm going to start and kind of take us through a journey of connecting to the breath. And then I'm going to move into some more imagery, because this is really important too. Our imagery, what we imagine, what are the images that we imagine? What does our thinking mind, how does our thinking mind move us into a place of imagery? I read something just a bit ago about that, how powerful it is. It's like early on when I said, it's hard for the mind to distinguish between what's real and what's being created in the moment. And so I'm going to at some point ask you to really envision your joy place. Envision that place where you feel joy and you feel peace and feel connected. All right, so we're going to combine all of these things. And as I said, if it feels right, close your eyes. I'm going to kind of tone us in a little bit, ask you to connect to your breathing. And at some point, I'm going to include my beautiful little African djembe, just to give a heart rhythm. Okay, are we ready? Are we good? All right, so try to find yourself a position that's very comfortable. Okay. See New Orleans, and I invite you, as we take this journey together, to use your voice, even if it's a simple hum. As Misha said, focus on that area of your body that you're guided to know houses your stress. And let's start by simply connecting to the breath, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. And so allow yourself to keep listening and feeling that wondrous life-giving pattern of breathing in and breathing out, and connecting to the song of your breath. Being in touch with that place within you where you're guided to know houses the energy of stress. And as you breathe in and as you breathe out, exhale through that place in your body. Exhale through that place in your body. Exhale and at this beautiful life-giving source, this source of breath. Inhale, exhale, is a life cycle of being that touches all of our body, that enlivens each of our organs, our nervous system, our mind, and the full measure of our being. Breathing in, breathing out. Allow yourself to relax now. Relax and let go of the thinking mind for a moment. And just be one with the warmth of your breath. Be in joy and stillness in this perfect moment as we consider the beauty and power of our words, the pure vibration as the mind connects to our thinking in the framing of the vibration of that being. Our words are powerful. Our thoughts are measurable. And so give yourself permission to connect to the positive energy of your words. Allow yourself to be in a place of letting go, and breathing into a place of centeredness, a pure breath of peace. Breathe out through that place in your body you've identified as holding your stress. If that feels like a challenge, just breathe out through your heart. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Knowing that just this pure experience is a beautiful moment for you. There's a beautiful mantra, Aja, ja, Aja, ja. And the ancients teach us that Aja is a melody of release. Allow yourself, as you're breathing now, to connect to the vibration of your words, and allow yourself, as you breathe out, to say, I let go. Breathing in, I let go. Breathing in, I let go. Breathing in, I let go. Now just listen to the beautiful stillness of your being. Breathing in, inhaling, exhaling, and allowing yourself to be in a joyful place of centeredness, recognizing that the beautiful energy and essence of your breath, connected to the positive understanding that in support of letting go and releasing stress, If you focus on that place within you where you're guided to know that you're holding on to stress, just exhale out and let it go. Recognizing that the song of the breath and the beautiful rhythmic pattern of your beating heart, coupled with the positivity of your thinking and the centeredness of your participation in breathing and being in partnership with that which can manifest wholeness and health and fullness for you. Being conscious of the fact that in every minute, every moment of our beingness, this breath in and this breath out gives our body what we require to be in connection to all of the other positive workings of our being. And sometimes we forget, or maybe we're in question as to whether our thinking and our speaking has an effect upon that. But I think if you allow yourself, as you continue to just live into the beauty of this breath, I think if we think about it, we recognize that every day of our lives and situations that we have and how we cope with or deal with the dealings of every day in life, that our breath is affected by that. And the mind never shuts off. The mind is moving through us. And so to give ourselves permission to recognize and listen to the energy and the positivity or negativity of our speaking gives us an opportunity to reframe and breathe into a pattern of positivity and positive speech. Even if we're dealing with a challenge in our life, if we give ourselves permission to breathe into, how am I reacting to this? Am I holding on to it, or am I letting it go and allowing the energy of that negativity to move into a place in the world where it can better serve the universe? For holding on to that negativity is of no value to you. So allow yourself to take that moment and breathe in to the intentionality, the vibration, the thought of centeredness. To know that there exists a beautiful perfection in the rhythm of your heart and in the song of your breath. Allow yourself to really move into that centered place. This can actually function fully in terms of your day. If you find yourself in a moment of frustration, remember to go to the breathing place. The greater scale of this is that we can literally move sound and positive thought into any part of our body that we want to create a sense of renewal. We want to really be in balance and in renewal. So powerful, so beautiful is this gift that life gives us of this song of the breath, breathing in, breathing out. The consciousness to be connected to the frequency and vibration of our thought and thinking, and to give ourselves permission to speak into and to think into those things that give us a sense of balance, give us a sense of returning to the full measure of our power as we align with everything else that we can do in terms of nutrition and hydration and exercise. The song of the breath is the music that we can listen to. Like when we go to the gym and there's music playing, there's always a phenomenal melody that sings within us, and that is the song of the breath. And so I add now for us, as you continue to breathe and just feel this Sindidi ya 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 da woo dum dum di ya ya do 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 ya ya in this imagery and the remembrance of a place that brings you a sense of peace and joy? Can you see it in your inner eye? Can you smell the fragrance of its space? Can you feel the energy and the joy that you feel when you're in this place of joy? Can you imagine what you're doing when you're in this beautiful space? Can you feel what you feel when you're there? Or maybe it's an activity that you do that brings the full measure of your being joy. So I invite you to breathe into this special place and feel the essence of it. How does it feel? How do you feel when you're in this place? When you're doing this activity that brings you joy and a sense of peace through your breath, through the imagery of your mind, to your sensory connection to this wonderful place. Let the rhythm of the drum remind you of the beauty of your beating heart, your inner drum that helps to keep you in balance in every moment, moving through your body, all that which you need. The rhythm of the drum, like your breath, your rhythmic harmony. Like the frequency and vibration of the ancient sound healing medicinal chanters and singers, I share with you a melodic melody designed to kind of ease you into a place of centeredness. But the very foundation of all of this abides within you and is within your ability to do it. For sounding is not about singing. Sounding is the acknowledgement and the utilization of the perfection of your perfect voice, the vibration of your voice, to move through your body, to quicken and enliven the vagus nerve, to awaken nitric oxide, to awaken those chemicals in your body that can help to bring you into a place of calm and help to relieve stress and trauma within you in any moment. The frequency and vibration of how you approach that, the words that you choose to speak into your inner reality, coupled with the frequency and vibration of your voice, can create positive patterns that move you towards a sense of centeredness, releasing stress and trauma. If you find yourself sometimes in a place where you're just feeling out of sorts, give yourself permission to take a breath, breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the mouth, breathing in through the nose, and saying, I release, I let go. I release, I let go. And when you find yourself a little out of balance, also give yourself permission to sit still for a moment, close your eyes, and imagine or be in that moment of joy that is within the realm of your remembrance. You know, the ancients teach us that remembrance is really, really important, as is repetition. I release. I remember. Allow yourself to go to your joy place, to go to your quiet place. Again, the mind can't distinguish between what's external and what's internal. Allow ourselves to create imagery. Imagination is so, so important. And so again, on that beautiful triangle at the base of breath, coupled with the vibration of our thinking, coupled with our sounding, together this beautiful golden triangle is at our disposal in every moment of our beingness. And so along with the great guidance and support that we get from Dr. Misha and our medical community and our communities of mental health and our communities that really move us into a place of fullness, recognize that you fully participate in this journey through the song of your breath, through the acknowledgement and the commitment to be in a place of centeredness guided by the beating heart, and being mindful of how you speak, what frequencies and vibrations move through your body and move into the world. And as Misha said, remember and be conscious of, where am I holding this? And breathe in and let go. I release, I let go. The power and beauty of wholeness and health lives within us all. We need but to be reminded, give ourselves permission to practice and shorten the distance between the mind and the heart and meet in the center, and allow ourselves to breathe into great possibilities for health, wholeness, wellness, and healing. Breathe in, breathe out. And if you've had your eyes closed, when it feels right, open your eyes. And if your eyes are already open, I thank you for allowing me the opportunity to share with you. I give it back to Misha.
Thank you, Fred. It's always magical to have you. I hope everybody enjoyed this. I'm sure people have comments. So one thing I'm actually going to ask you, everybody, to put down, if you found a place in your body that connected to the stressor and you had an impact of Fred's practice, just drop a couple of words, or maybe even just one word. How'd you feel and what changed? Were you able to relax that area? Were you able to release attention? Was there a change in the symptoms as a result? And as we cooking up the Beating Heart Clinic, we're of course going to give you all more updates, what that means, and how Fred and I will work together closer and closer. But meantime, I encourage everybody to tune in and listen to Fred's Monday presentations. They are getting placed in recording. They are a bit shorter than Fred's practice today. And Steph can put a link where you guys need to go to check it out. We are sort of trying to link them up so that whatever's on Monday sort of have the continuous moment as Friday. I think we'll try to do better over time with that. So.
And you know, Misha, I would also encourage folk, if there is something that kind of that's moving through them, or a question that they may have, or something that they would like for me to focus on, if they will email us and let me know, and I can get those. And as I do those moments, I'll be conscious of that, and it can help me to kind of shape it as well. That would be very, very helpful, because we do want to. We always create an intention, And fundamentally, I will tell you that this realm of sound and the rhythm of our own inner rhythm, the beating heart, and our speaking, the vibration of our speaking, and also the utilization of our voices. I did one whole beating heart moment on the fact that this is not about singing. I sing with you and I sing for you, because that, as we when we talked about the scientific fact that that elongated sound, that elongated breath through melody helps me to connect to you, you to connect to me, so that you open up. But the value in the mantras that I share, they can be spoken. This is not about song, it's about the pure frequency and vibration. And I have done one of the beating heart moments just on moving through the energy centers of the body, the phonetic sound, the lips, the tongue, the teeth, the roof of the mouth. This is all about expanding sound and really understanding the full measure of the possibility of how our sonic being is so powerful, and our thinking mind has such a powerful effect upon our ability to feel whole and complete.
Maybe we still have a few minutes, but maybe if somebody have any questions to Fred. Everybody, thank you so much for such a wonderful comments. They're very thoughtful and powerful comments in the chat. Fred, I don't know if you had a chance to take a look. Steph placed links to the Beating Heart Moment full series, and again, this is the same link. The things will be keep adding there. The best way to do this when you go to the YouTube, make sure that you actually subscribe. So the way to do this, when you get to that link that Steph gave you, there's a place where you can subscribe to that. So this way you will not miss the new ones, because you're gonna get, if you're frequent visitor on YouTube, then you will get a reminder. The YouTube will tell you there's a new video for you to watch.
There's a question as what is the email to use to message me? Is there a email for the clinic, or they can use my Essence of Healing
I think they
email?
can use yours for now.
Okay, so
Um,
let me give you my email. It's kind of long, but it's Essence of
can
Healing.
you, Fred, can you type it in the chat? I think that's
Oh
just be
God,
easier.
I can play drums. I don't know
JD
if
can
I
help.
could, if
Actually,
I
we,
could.
we can. Okay, we'll help. Don't worry. Don't worry.
It's it's it.
We'll place it there.
It's essence of healing dot speaking music at gmail.com. Essence of healing
We're on top
dot
of it.
speaking music at gmail.com.
That's too much to spell. Just gonna copy paste it once I find the right email. Or maybe somebody else. Maybe JD can do it better than me.
You found my weakness. I can drum, I can chant, I can, but
It's okay.
the technology thing, I'm still living back in ancient times. Yeah, you go. Essence of healing dot speaking music at
All right.
gmail.com. So you
Thank you,
can email
JD.
me directly.
Well, thank you, friends, so much. This was absolutely wonderful. If you need to talk to me, if you're my patient, stay here. Janet, what do we have next week? And while Jane's doing that, I'm going to remind everybody that our annual fundraiser for AIM is in a full speed. So if you want to support us, by all means, let me give you the link. And the reason it's full speed is because there's only 2 weeks left before my race. And of course, you can donate after too. Here's the link. And the AIM as the result of it. All right, so next week we have Victoria, who is director of the Resiliency Center, GW, and looks like it's still me. Okay, see everybody next week. Fred, thank you.